Broadcasting from the basement of La Penta, it's WICR.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Sports Vault. Jersey Joe Archino back here, and the NBA playoffs are in full swing, and really it has brought us the consistency that we have seen all season, and one of the most consistent things all season has of course been the Golden State Warriors. And the biggest takeaway after last night, where they defeat the Rockets 115-106, take a 2-0 lead in that series, is they're more than just Stephen Curry. And I think when you look at the team, that's been evident all along. It's really not a surprise. Now, Klay Thompson, of course, gets all the recognition last night, but it is a collective effort. And the biggest reason, which I think made the Warriors the most dangerous they've been this season, is getting a guy like Shaun Livingston. Having a change of pace point guard like that and go seamlessly from Curry to Livingston on the bench, and even to plug in situations like this, is invaluable. And you saw that in a game like this last night. You have to have a competent guard, not just one who understands the technical side of the game, but just guys who understand the timing of the game. Situational awareness of players like Livingston are invaluable when you get to points like this where you're missing your most important player. And then Klay Thompson is really, to me, a perfect player in the NBA, not just from his athletic standpoint, from his shooting ability, which I think he might have the best pure shooting mechanics in the league. He's a guy who is always willing to surrender the spotlight to Stephen Curry. Will never complain about it, knows he's not going to be able to score as many points as he could usually be able to if he was on another team. If Klay Thompson was on another team, he could most likely be doing what Stephen Curry has done. He's shown glimpses of it. I mean, last season, go back to his third quarter where he scored the 37 points. Klay Thompson shows that ability, has that ability, but he pulls it back because he knows this is Stephen Curry's team. This is Stephen Curry's league now. And there's not a lot of players who would allow that to happen. Their egos would get in the way. But Klay Thompson, when he's needed in a game like this, where they can't win a game like this without him, is always ready. And that's always the case with Klay Thompson. Why, to me, he's a perfect NBA player is the ego doesn't matter. This is a guy who just wants to win, and that's the embodiment of the Golden State Warriors. It's what Steve Kerr has put as the model. Last season, it's the same thing with Andre Iguodala. How many players would accept the role like he did, come off the bench, and make the impact, the immeasurable impact that he made? Remember, Andre Iguodala, for the large part of the season, was coming off the bench in the NBA Finals. The Cavs were giving the Warriors a lot of matchup problems when he was in the game. So Steve Kerr takes him, puts him in the starting lineup, no complaints. He does what he's asked to do. And that's what this team does. They just do what they're asked to do because they trust their coach. Steve Kerr, to me, is as good as it gets, and I don't know if there's a lot of coaches who can relate and bond and have the same level of trust with their players like he did. And even when they were going for the 73 wins for beating the Bulls' 72-10 record, he always would say, I got to ask my guys. I told them that it's up to them. And I think from a player's standpoint, they all can appreciate that so much because he's going to do what's in their best interest. But even with that being said, he's not going to go against what they want to do. And it really is such a cohesive bond that they have on this team. Whether you look at a guy like Livingston being the perfect man up for them, or a guy like Klay Thompson when he is needed, being the man when Stephen Curry can't go, and Draymond Green with his toughness and his team-first mentality. It's such a model, and I hate to use that word model of perfection because it's used so infrequently, but when it's used, you better have a good reason to use it. And I think with the Golden State Warriors, you have a very good reason to use it there because not a lot of teams would be able to make this work. It would be easy for the egos to get in the way of what matters, but it doesn't with Golden State because from the top to the bottom of the organization, it is structured the right way. And when you structure it the right way, it's because you have the right people at all the right places. And whether it's the GM and Bob Myers, or the head coach and Steve Kerr, or their assistants and Luke Walton, or it's Stephen Curry, or if it's a guy on the bench like Sean Livingston who has to come in and start in a game like this of this magnitude. There are not a lot of teams in this league who could do those types of things. But Golden State can, and I think right now, you saw a little bit of cockiness from Andre Iguodala, kind of saying that these games against the Rockets have kind of felt like exhibition games so far, and that's just kind of the competitive nature of a guy like Iguodala, but it is not much resistance. The Rockets are a team that lacks identity. They've lacked it all season. Getting into the playoffs for them, they got into it without identity. They haven't had identity all year. And when you get to this point, you better be able to very easily pick out what is your identity, what is your team about. I can pick that out with a handful: San Antonio, Golden State, Cleveland. Even though Cleveland has lacked that identity at times, they did find it a little bit more, and I think they found it in their first win against the Pistons. Even though they're down, trailing in the fourth quarter, they win that one by Love, Kyrie, and LeBron spearheading their game plan, and that's what wins for them. As long as the three of them are healthy, and even if one of them isn't healthy, they get to the Eastern Conference Finals without a doubt. In Golden State, it's the same thing. Golden State's road might be a little bit tougher, but even with that being said, they just have a unique product with their style right now that just can't be matched by anyone else, and I think we're going to see a rematch of what we saw last season in the NBA Finals. I've thought that all from the day that the season opened, and I think that right now, and you just look at the way these games are going out, it's very easy to see right now who is who and why the Warriors are just a cut above everyone else. They had maybe one or two moments this season where it was difficult, but even then it's not saying much. It has been a perfect year. It is really on paper and just from the way that they play, the way that they conduct themselves, a perfect team. It's been constructed just immeasurably perfectly, and I think right now you just need to sit back and watch it all play out. Stephen Curry, though, is the big one, of course. It does have to be concerning what's happened with him, because whenever you hear about him and the ankle, I always go back to his first couple years in the league where people always ask the question, could this guy stay healthy in this league? And then we know what has happened since then, but it's always an injury with him that you have to take seriously and that you have to be very careful about and monitor very carefully. And they're going to be looking at him like gold right now and doing whatever they can to get him as much rest as he can. I really don't even know if it's worth playing him the rest of this series against the Rockets. If I'm Steve Kerr, unless Stephen Curry, it just makes it impossible for me not to play him. I rest him the rest of this series. You just have to, because the Rockets lack the identity. This series has been over since the moment it started. Play guys like Klay Thompson. Let your other guys like Sean Livingston continue to get the reps in, continue to get their legs up, and I think it just is all going to work out in the end as long as Curry continues to get the rest that he needs. But until then, Jersey, Joe Archino here with the Sports Vault. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino and on Instagram, Jersey_Joe_Archino. And I'll see everybody next time.